Again from THC Digest. In this video, I want to talk about what I think is the most important decision you'll make, which will determine whether you're successful in growing weed or not. It's something I don't really see other growers or any other place really talking about, but I actually think it's the most powerful thing, and it has everything to do with your mindset and what you can control. So when I say this, what really you want to do when you're approaching growing weed or just starting out, you want to make a conscious decision to say that you are going to succeed no matter what. And if you make that decision, there is nothing that can stop you from succeeding. It just becomes a matter of how much time will it take. If you go into it as you start out growing and you wonder if you're going to fail or not, well, you're giving yourself the option to fail. But if you make the decision right from the start that you're going to succeed, well, you might hit obstacles and there might be things that prevent you from succeeding in a certain amount of time, but eventually you will succeed. And this is the kind of mindset you need to have, because if you really want to get to the end, you can't let anything like any sort of difficulty or anything like that stop you. You have to remember that this is a learning process. It's not something that you're going to be able to just read and you'll get it perfectly the first time. It just won't happen. There's too much to learn. But as long as you have the willingness to push through, and no matter what happens, you're going to make sure that you learn something or you improve upon your skills, well, then nothing can stop you from ultimately ending up with marijuana independence. One thing I highly suggest when you're just starting out is to keep reasonable expectations. Um, it's possible that the first time that you grow, you'll make it all the way to harvest. Of course it's possible, but is that reasonable? Well, it really depends on the amount of effort that you put into it. If you go into it and you spend 1 or 2 hours the entire time learning something new or trying to improve upon your grow, and the rest of the time you're just hoping something happens good, well, then you're probably not going to harvest successfully on your very first grow. But if you put a lot of effort into it and you make time to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure that you end up with a successful grow, well, then your chances increase dramatically. But at the same time, I don't suggest going in and making goals where you say, I'm going to grow 1 ounce on my first grow. Because when you do that, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I mean, yeah, again, you might reach it, but there's a good chance that you won't reach it, and if you don't reach it, then you're going to be highly disappointed. In my opinion, it's better to make goals that are completely within your control. Goals like, I'm going to spend 1 or 2 hours a week trying to learn something new about growing weed, or I'm going to spend a few minutes a day looking at my plant every single day so I can monitor it and learn more about what my plant is doing, how it's behaving, etc., etc. Those kinds of goals are going to help expand your knowledge and make your ability to grow much more successful. But those goals are completely within your control. If you don't spend that time, well, then it's all on you. Whereas if you say, I'm going to make a goal and I'm going to end up with 1 ounce, well, you're bringing in another external factor, which is how the plant ends up doing. And I don't suggest doing that. Again, from my own experience, those were the kind of goals I was making at the start, and it was really disappointing because I didn't make it to harvest twice. So, and it was finally my third time that I finally made it. So, make goals that are within your control and goals you know you can meet. And as long as they're goals that are going to help you learn something and over time you'll get better, well, then there's no doubt that you'll eventually succeed. The other thing I really want to say is you really want to take your education seriously. A little time into learning something from some other source can save you a lot of time and heartache. Um, I didn't really take it seriously at first, and that's what ended up causing me to not make it to harvest twice. I just I thought when I bought the equipment that things would just sort of happen naturally and I wouldn't have to put all that much effort into it. But really, I've learned that it really makes a big difference if you just take a little bit of time to make sure you actually know what you're doing. Pay attention to your plants. If you see anything happening, try to nip it in the bud. Uh, no pun intended. But really, there's lots of sources out there for you to learn on the internet. I mean, that's where I learned a lot of stuff. And then once I finally decided to really take it seriously, I got Growing Elite Marijuana, and that's what led me to my first success. But also, if you want to learn, I also recommend, obviously, my other videos. I talk about a lot of other stuff. There's THC Digest, and then my Grow Guide and Coaching. These are all things I recommend, obviously, because they're from my own experience. So, and I'm sure they'll help you out too. So, and at the end of the day, they help support THC Digest to keep this going. So, I really appreciate all the help you guys give me. As far as what's coming up, in the next few weeks, in about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to be starting my new grow. And in between, I'm going to do a couple videos about like how much money you can really save from growing and an updated equipment list. So be sure to subscribe. You'll get all of those videos when they come out. And good luck with all your grows. I look forward to seeing them.